Good morning, students. Students of standard 9th and 10th English medium. You will find here the story writing. You will also get in PDF file, so don't worry if it is not clear here, okay? However, I want to tell you something about story writing. What is story and how to write? Story writing is an art and that requires a lot of communication skills. You all are in English medium, my dear students. Remember that 9-10 years you are studying in English medium students, and therefore your communication skills is tested by giving you writing these story writings. First of all, it requires the art of narrating things in an interesting way. You should narrate the things in as interesting as possible. You will be given either the introductory lines or some hints given in the input or both. See, mostly story writing, your outline will be given or some input will be given, okay? And you have to develop the story based on it. And you have to develop it on the same theme. You cannot change the theme as intended by the introductory lines or by the input given. You can't go against the stated theme. You can change the theme of the story. And remember, it has to be always with a title. You have to give the title when you write the story. For example, 2 examples I have given and the 3 questions you have to complete. First example, outline you see, a woodcutter chopping trees on the bank of a river. His axe fell down into river, couldn't swim, unhappy at his misfortune and wept. God of forests appeared, promised to get back his axe, dived, came out with an axe of gold, not mine, dived again, came out with silver axe, not mine, said woodcutter, dived again, came out with woodcutter's axe, this is my axe. Truly honest, rewarded all 3 axes to the woodcutter. I am sure by this time you know it. In the smaller classes you have gone through, you have come across this story, story of this woodcutter. You can write story of a woodcutter or honesty is rewarded. Here I have given that topic, honesty is rewarded. Quickly you see each outline given has to be covered up. Clear? A woodcutter was chopping down trees on the bank of a river. His hands were so much wet with his sweat that he lost his grip over the axe. It slipped away from his hands and fell down into the river. The poor man couldn't even swim. He thought that his axe was lost forever. He was very sad at his misfortune and started sobbing. Sobbing means crying and weeping. Suddenly there was a flash of light. The god of the forests appeared before him. The woodcutter explained what had happened. The god consoled him. Don't you worry. I'll get back your axe for you. Having said these words, he dived into the river. After a few moments, he came out with an axe. It was made of gold. Is this yours? He asked. The woodcutter only said, No. A few seconds later, he came out of the river with another axe. It was made of silver. No, no, sir, this is not mine, said the woodcutter. He dived again and came out with the third axe. The woodcutter cried loudly, looking at the axe. Yes, yes, it's mine. The woodcutter's axe with an iron blade. The god of forest was impressed with the woodcutter's honesty. Keep all 3 of these axes as a present from me. The god uttered these words and disappeared. Understood? Each and every point is covered up and one big paragraph is made. Understood? Second one. Martin, a cobbler, his son died. No interest in life. A religious man reminded that Martin couldn't judge God's ways. Heard a voice, Martin, look out in the street tomorrow, for I shall come. Next morning, an old man stood shivering in cold. Martin invited him inside, offered tea. No one came. Next morning, a poor woman stood with a baby in arms. Martin gave her his bed, food and soup. Martin kept on waiting, but no one came. In dream, first saw old man, then the woman with the child. Martin crossed himself. The Lord had really come to him. Topic here, where there is love, there is God. In a certain town there lived a cobbler. Sorry. In a certain town there lived a cobbler named Martin. He could recognize the people by their boots. His only son died young, and Martin didn't wish to live anymore. One day a nobleman reasoned with Martin. He told him that they could not judge God's ways. God gives him life, and he must live for him. Martin fell asleep. Suddenly he heard a voice. Martin, look out into the street tomorrow, for I shall come. Next morning, he saw an old man standing near his window. He was shivering and cold. Come in and warm yourself a bit, he asked him to sit down and have some tea. While the old man drank his tea, Martin kept looking out into the street. He told that he was expecting the Lord himself. The old man thanked Martin for his hospitality and went away. No one came. When Martin was anxious, he saw a poor woman standing near the window with a crying baby in her arms. Why do you stand out there with the baby in the cold? Martin led her to the bed near the stove. The woman was hungry. He gave some bread and cabbage soup to her. She had no warm clothing. After the woman had gone, his eyes were still fixed at the window, and a voice whispered in his ear, Martin, Martin, don't you know me? Martin looked around in surprise, and out of the dark corner stopped the old man. It is I. Then the figure disappeared. It is I, said the voice once more. And now the woman with the baby laughed, and they too vanished. Martin crossed himself. He understood that his dream had come true, and the Lord had really come to him that day, and he had welcomed him. All the outline, everything is covered up. And so now here is a homework for you. Complete the following stories with the help of given outline in about 150 to 200 words with suitable title. First one, King Solomon asks God for wisdom. Know between good and evil. Two women quarrel about a child. They come to King Solomon. Advice to cut in two. First one agrees. Second one breaks down. That means she cries. Child is entrusted to the real mother. Second question. I am sure first one you know, that also has appeared somewhere in your story earlier in your primary section. Second, a man walking through the forest, attacked by the robbers, beaten up, robbed. Some people passed by, ignored. At last one good man helps, takes him to a hospital, pays the bill. Okay? First you try to understand. In your mind you have to compose a story, then you write it down. Third, lots of mice in kingdom. This also you will know it. The king announced a reward. A Pied Piper came, drove away all mice. The king denied to reward him. The Pied Piper took away the children. Clear? Now work for you. Three stories you will have to complete in your notebook. Thank you, students.